Welcome to the True Talk Cafe podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited you're here. Our podcast will tackle a myriad of topics, ranging from relationships to personal development and everything in between. My name is Renee Stewart, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Anna Garcia, Carla Decor, and Lali Ramirez Bennett. Collectively, we span 4 generations. Can you believe that? We've all experienced ups and downs in our personal lives and professional careers that have qualified us to share our unique perspectives with you, and we're excited to do so. But before we get into today's content, I wanted to let you know where you can find us on social media. On Instagram and Facebook, you can use at True Talk Cafe, and on Twitter, you can use at True Talk Cafe 1. Don't forget to like us, rate us, and leave a review. We value your feedback. We want to ensure that we are providing content that resonates with you. So please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts. Spoiler alert, you will want to stay tuned to hear what our guests are going to share about this exciting topic today. Also, stick around to find out how you can join us on a live show. We would love to have you join us on one of our episodes. Now, let's get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are glad that everybody is here. I have our question today to start off this podcast is, are your connections and relationships healthy or toxic? So we know relationships impact all dimensions of our well-being, including physical and mental health, and our ability to flourish at work in every other facet of life. So in today's episode, we're calling Embracing Connections and Managing Relationships. We're going to discuss the impact connections have on your work life and provide some strategies to manage your work relationships that lead to positive mental health and well-being. And to start us off is Anna.
Hey there, everyone. So let's talk about this. This is a topic that's near and dear. As a matter of fact, I had a call earlier today with Lolly, and I was like, this is a great one for tonight's conversation. So I didn't save it. I had to get it out of my off my chest. But let's talk about when people are socially and have stable and supportive relationships, they're more likely to make healthy choices and to have better mental and physical health outcomes. If they're not healthy, the latter is going to be it, right? They're going to have more stress, more anxiety, more depression. However, with the healthy social circle, you're better able to cope with hard times. And that stress, anxiety, and depression can also be subsided a lot quicker. Since May is Mental Health Month, the pod crew will delve deeper into this important topic. And Lolly has our first question for the evening.
Hello, everyone. I think this is a great topic. I'm excited that we're going to bring this up and talk a little bit about it because it certainly impacts all of our lives. So, the first question is, how do you recognize the signs of an unhealthy work relationship or toxic work behavior? Can you share a personal experience where you had to deal with a toxic work relationship? And what was the impact on your mental and emotional health? Renee, you want to start off?
Sure. Basically, how I recognize the signs of unhealthy work relationships and toxic behavior. Basically, when I am like really stressed, I see someone like micromanaging or having like microaggressions towards me or kind of making snide or just doing underhanded stuff. You know what I mean? That you kind of know they think they're being slick, but they're really not. That's when I kind of recognize it. And I have had a couple of things like that happen to me. And the impact that it made on my mental and emotional well-being, I typically hold everything in my stomach. So I'll get real tense. And when I was younger, I didn't quite know how to manage that stress. And so I actually ended up with an ulcer. So, because I would hold everything in because I needed to keep the job at the time. So I didn't want to let it out. But now at this age, I don't hold it in as much. And plus, I have other stress management techniques that I can use because now I'm like, all right, I can choose how to experience that person. Okay? And it really kind of alleviates all of the stress and anxiety. I don't let it affect me as much at all. But that just kind of comes with age and comes with getting different resources. and going through different trainings around this topic. What about you, Anna?
This is one of those questions when you talk about how do you recognize the signs? Who has walked into a meeting or a room and before you even make it, knowing who's there, you're already feeling anxious? You're feeling that gnawing, like you mentioned, Renee, it's in there in your gut. I get stress on my shoulder. So I feel like somebody's sitting on me and that weight is just so heavy. So if you're starting to feel like every time you're going to meet with somebody, you're starting to feel that anxiety, just knowing you're going to meet with them, that's probably recognizing that toxic relationship or that behavior, right? And it happens to all of us. Nobody is exempt from these relationships. Unfortunately, we don't always get to choose who we work with. But to Renee's point, we do get to choose how to navigate that, right? So when we talk about a personal experience, my gosh, how much time do we have, guys? Uh, I think both Lolly and Renee know my stories. A few years back, I was super excited to start a new role, a role that I asked out, pursued, and was super excited to get invited to join the group. And my first day, I'm like smiling, introducing myself. And the first thing I hear is this little Mexican girl. She's waiting over her head. What does she think she's doing here? And I saw Renee's face right now. Renee is in HR. So that was not a good sign, and I will share with you. I I mean, it killed me a little bit because 'cause I'm super excited to start this new role. I'm proud of the opportunity. One of the things I can tell you, every role I ever held in my prior company, or I think even now, I was the youngest. I was the youngest in that department. So the little Mexican girl that's walking in with 3 stripes, I'm young, I'm female, and I'm Latina. So it was very toxic. There was times I'm not even gonna deny it. I would come home and cry from anger, but I'd be damned if I would let them see me or let them witness me feeling defeated or feeling angry, right? But to the impact, there was definitely impact. There was mental impact, there was emotional impact. The emotional impact was the one I felt the most because I could not believe in my 30 plus years of living at that time. It's a little bit longer now, but my 30 plus of years of living, that was the first time that I have ever encountered true hate for no reason, just for being me. We're not even going to talk racism. I think it even went beyond that. It was just total disdain and discrediting just because of the way I looked and who I was when I walked in the room. So it was very emotional. I remember coming home to my husband and my kids and telling them, can you believe this happened? Can you believe that? On my mental health, I take a lot of pride in managing and maintaining my mental health. I would do some exercises while there. I would have to do some breathing exercises. I would have to do some stepping out exercises. I would have to do it because I am the type of individual, and these two ladies here probably know this. You doubt me, I'm going to prove you wrong. You say I can't do it. Not only am I going to do it, I'm going to better do it better than you've ever witnessed. I'm going to do it better than you because you said I couldn't. So my mental health was kind of maintained by myself, what is it called? Motivation to do better and to be better. But the emotional health was a roller coaster. There was days and I felt defeated and I would come home and just cry. And then I would go back into it because this was a day to day job. Every single day was the same thing. So there's definitely signs. Every single day I would wake up with that gut wrenching pain in my stomach to get started again, to go face these people that didn't like me for no apparent reason, but for being Anna. And I don't know about you guys, but I love Anna and I'm very happy for Anna to be here. So I had to show them that they had to be happy too. But it was very evident that it was unhealthy and toxic.
One of the things that I learned a long time ago was that that motivation that pushes you to succeed and to show people. At some point in my life, I remember, okay, I've had it with these people, so my goal will be to out survive them. I mean, it's I can do this job, and I'm not about to leave because of them. And sure enough, it got to a point where of my old team that we had here in Houston, there was only a handful of us. So without question, by the time I retired, I certainly had out survived all of them. But it takes that was the only way that I could find some way of coping with it, right?
Mhm.
I have talked about this recently quite a bit, and we talk to kids about not bullying. I'm sorry, adults are the worst bullies, especially at a work environment. You gotta stop and sometimes think, I wonder what the hell's going on in this person's life. Are they so miserable that all they do is find joy in making somebody else be that miserable too? And just recognize that by giving them that extra ability to have that space in your head and in your just in your being, that you're giving them joy was the way that I learned to be able to overcome them. That's where I was looking for earlier. It's overcoming them. Because if you don't give them the room, they don't have the power. Unfortunately, when you're getting beat down, it's pretty hard to know, right? And it's easier said than done when you're older and you can look back and say these things. But if I had to tell somebody in today's environment, don't allow anybody to ever treat you that way. The job is you got to stand up for yourself. And the moment somebody mistreats you, we got to stand up and there's ways of doing it so that you can protect yourself.
I would agree. You definitely have to know who you are and don't let anybody else put labels on you.
Oh yeah.
I just don't do that. Someone had said to me, they were saying that I didn't know something. I mean, you don't know anything about this. It was somebody that high up in another company. And I said to them, I said, I have skills in me that haven't been made visible yet. I said, so don't tell me what I know and what I don't know because you don't know me. And they
Right.
just kind of looked at me like,
Yeah.
oh, and I didn't mean it like that. I go, yeah, you did. I go, I just shut you down though. I go, don't come at me like that because you don't know me.
Mm.
But sometimes you have to stand up and shut that down. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? You can't allow people to put their label on you at all. Just don't stand for it. And at my mature age now, I can do that. I can say it. It's a little harder when you're just getting into the workforce and you don't quite know when you're still jockeying for a position where it's like, I got one more move. That's how I do. I got one more move. So I know who I am and what I'm about and what I'm going to take and what I'm not going to take. So with that being said, my question is on the flip side of this, can you share a story about a meaningful connection that you've made in your professional or personal life and how did that impact you? Anna, let's start.
So I always say that I've had very few role models or very few sponsors or even mentors in my life. And it's actually very true. I found myself navigating a lot of things without ever having that support. But I remember when I first started at Southwestern Bell, I was the baby. I did mention I was the youngest in every department I've ever gone. I was a baby, fresh out of high school. And everybody called me the baby, right? It was the baby, the baby. But I remember because I've always been really good at things that I do, Renee, to your point that you haven't seen it all. I can do whatever I want to do. I just got to know that I want to do it. Right. And I was one of the top performers in the high achiever. And I was invited to it. And well, back then they would do some recognition things. And so they fly you out to a different city and do all of the award ceremony and all the things. Well, it usually involves an open bar. And again, I'm the baby, so I'm not old enough to drink. And I'm on the plane with my director, and she chooses to sit next to me. And she's like talking to me the whole time. And she's like, Anna, she's like, I can get in trouble if you drink. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. I hardly ever drink anyways, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm in a professional setting. I'm not going to do that to myself. And she pulled me aside when we came back from the trip. And she goes, I want to share something with you. I'm very impressed with your behavior, your composure, the way I would have never thought you were under 21, or heck, I'd have never thought you were not already a full adult with children even at home. And I said, because I wasn't married, I had no kids, I'm still a baby in their eyes. And she goes, and I want to tell you something. I want you to go to college. I want you to do all the things because I know you can do so much more. Nobody ever told me that. And I said, well, I actually am looking for college right now. I had just applied at U of H. Actually, I applied first at the Art Institute because I wanted to be a interior designer. AT&T didn't pay for that. So I kind of switched careers really quick. And I went down the business path and I told her, I said, well, I'm actually already, and I applied and I got accepted. So I'm about to look into enrollment. And she was like, well, let's get that paid for you. Here I am after almost 30 years of having worked there. I still stay connected with her. And she still tells me her cry. she is to me. Ollie has met her and she hears it. She hears it. But it was just took that one moment of her just not really knowing me because we had just met and telling me, wow, you can do so many things. And when people will sometimes tell you that, but they say it just because they never really mean it, she meant it. And I felt she meant it. So that's been a very meaningful connection in my life because I was the first person that ever served sort of as a mentor with me. And then later as a sponsor, it's like the only person actually, if you really think of my entire career there, that ever wanted to help me or support me. Everybody else seemed to want to hold me back or I think, but I guess that stuck with me. And I'm glad that it happened within my first few months of being there because it was very meaningful and it impacted me in a positive way that I could accomplish whatever I wanted to do. And I think all those other times that I heard, no, you can't, was more like, she said I could, I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove you wrong. That's definitely the one that stands out when we talk about some of those connections.
Renee, I'm going to chime in here, and I will tell you, I've been very fortunate with the mentors that I've had in my life. Most of them have been men. I will say that. Quite honestly, I think the men have always seen me as daughters. I have Uncle Mike, and the men are people that I really have resonated with. And it's been they've walked next to me, they've pushed me along, they've been there to men that other people didn't always get along with because they didn't they weren't I think be it the authenticity is very important, right? Being and being willing to respect yourself and hold your own was something that all of those men really, I know, respected of me, right? That it was just a different time when I was growing up, at least in the business world from where we are today, and it was wonderful to have that. I think that when you think about those people, the one thing that I will say is that I've also been very good about going back to them and thanking them for what they do, right? I think we've failed to do that. We fail to let the people that have been the most positive influences understand what impact they've made on your life. We certainly complain about the ugly people and they hold a lot, but like after COVID, what my husband and I were sitting talking about where did we want to go? Where did we want to travel? And one of the first things that I wanted to do, and he agreed because Mike Barden happened to be both of our one a mentor that was very strong and dear to our heart. He had long since retired. And that was our first trip right after or as soon as we could travel from that first bout of COVID, just to go see him and to tell him how much he made a difference in my life, right? And I am without question a better woman because of the things that I learned from him, a better leader. And so it's sad that you spend so much more time beating each other up rather than raising each other when we could become so much better overall. Life could be so much more pleasant.
Yeah, I would agree. For me, kind of like you, Lolly, most of my mentors were male and at different stages, different kind of like decades of my life. And it's like one that just picked up right where the other one left off. That's what it kind of seemed like.
Mhm.
And they
Yeah.
definitely sponsored me. They championed me. The last person that he really was instrumental in my career path. And he'd be like, hey, don't step there. Do this. I mean, we still stay in contact with
Yeah.
all of them.
I do too.
Usually like birthdays for the
Mhm.
other two. But this person I still stay in contact with because we're friends at this point. You know what I mean? So it's just amazing. And I hear myself kind of saying what they would say in certain situations, or I hear
Yeah.
them in my ear, like, okay, this is how you need to handle that situation.
Mhm.
And then it definitely talked me off the roof a few times. But on a personal note, this was just, I got this last week and a half. I'm putting together our 40th high school reunion. And one of the people that I went to school with, they DM'd me on Facebook. And this is what they said. When we were in high school, it was easy to see who had potential. You were certainly someone with potential. Not everyone converts that into achievement. In your case, I knew you would, and you did. Proud of you, Renee.
Wow.
I haven't heard from him in years. And that's what he sent me. And I was
Y-
like, that was so nice.
it took
I love it.
very little time, but what an impact it made, right?
Yeah.
I think that's about the importance of that. How do you maintain those? Is sometimes simply being kind enough to be honest and say, "Hey, you've done a great job." We need to hear that. Life
Yeah.
is hard enough on its own, you
You
know?
Absolutely.
know, and I love that because I think when we talk about those meaningful connections, we don't realize how many meaningful connections are done unbeknownst to us. It could just be that they saw, I mean, we talk about this all the time, sharing a post, sharing what you do and what we're able to accomplish. I hear it all the time. I think we've all shared when somebody reaches out to us and thanks us and I'm like, well, what did I do? All I did was post something, right? And we've all have experienced that. And I think those connections are important because we're not realizing the impact that we're making on somebody that might have had a toxic day at work or might have had to deal with city beyond their realm of capabilities even. And so for them to be able to see what you've shared with them or to see the accomplishment you've done, it's almost like giving them permission to do it and go out on their own. I had a similar message yesterday, Renee. This is from somebody I've never met in person. And this is from somebody we've crossed in paths. And she sent me a message. Hey there, I thought of you this morning and wanted to share how proud I am of you and how you have taken ownership of your career. I know it's not easy, but you are an inspiration to me. And she went on and said a couple of other things of how much she appreciates how we help others find the courage to do the things that we've done. And so I thought about that when you guys were sharing. I was like, you don't realize what an impact you're making on somebody. I've had, to your point, Renee, some of my high school friends, the other day I got a message. I told Lolly ago, I was thinking about her 2 weeks ago, and she just got laid off. And she reached out to me. And last time I've seen her was in high school. And even though I know I look like it's only even a couple years, for a little bit longer than that. So keep being yourselves, guys. Be that one person that people are excited to see at work. Be that person that lessens the burden of the other relationships that they have to deal with. And I love that. And I'm not one to turn the other cheek, but I'm also not one to throw the first punch on anything when it comes to being a better person. Sometimes just reading the room. When you see somebody struggling with someone else at work, why add to that? Why not make it better? Why not see, hey, how can I help? And be that person. And that kind of is a great segue to the next question. And I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this one. How do you set and maintain boundaries to protect your mental and emotional health in the workplace? Who wants to take that one first? That's a good one.
I will, Anna. I think having spent 40 almost 40 years in corporate America, there's plenty of that I had to learn, right? And it's about learning to become focused on what it is that your personal goals are. Don't like I said earlier, the more we give people room in our mind, in our space, the more they have control of us. And it's us allowing them to have control of us, right? The moment that you can make them insignificant in your thoughts, the less you're giving to them as well. I can think of a time, probably a good 20 years into my career, where I was really happy. I was extremely happy. I had a sales team, and I we all worked very well together. And somewhere along the way, my director thought that I was trying to get their position, got it into their mind that I was trying to get, and everybody around them, their friends were poking at anything and everything. And suddenly they took away my sales team. They took away what, well, I just became more focused on succeeding at whatever it was, because I knew that it was kind of pissing them off, to be honest with you. And that's just it. It's what I use this a lot, especially as I'm working with the career and life transition work that we do coaching, right? It's what emotion makes you the most effective. Quite honestly, I am probably one of the most even keeled persons you will find, usually pretty positive. The moment that you make me mad, you won't know I'm mad. I've become very good at having that poker face. I can be as wonderful as you could think, but you're not ever going to beat me at this point in time because now I'm mad. The other thing is that I've also learned that it's it's a way of keeping an eye on the prize, right? Those people are simply distractions. They're trying to deter you from what it is that you want. And if they can get you upset, then they've won. Guess what? Again, who's giving them that control? It's not going to be me. So that's my biggest trick in that respect.
Yeah. To piggyback on that, you're so right as far as people acting as distractions. And I now look at it as when there's like crazy happening, I know I'm on the right track. That's how I look at that because it's always opposite. There's always something that's coming that to distract you from staying focused
Mhm.
on the path that you're supposed to be going down. I have a little post-it note on my monitor that says "Protect your peace." And I look at that because there's just sometimes in HR when people are coming into your office, and a lot of times they're not coming in to say, "Hey, how's your day going?" No, they're coming in there to complain. So you're getting a lot of negative energy,
Yeah.
coming into the room. And so I play a lot of like spiritual music in the background. It's low, but I know it's there just to kind of set the atmosphere, so to speak, and kind of combat some stuff. There are a couple of people that just chaos and drama just follow them. They just thrive on it. And even when you point it out to them, they're like, yeah, but. So obviously they just negated everything that you've tried to tell them to help them in their situation. They don't want help. They don't. So that's where I have to say, okay, because I have to take on so much negativity that I kind of have to have like that plexiglass for COVID. You see it a lot. Plexiglass.
Visual. Yes, it is.
And as I say when coaching, don't get in the box with them at all. Stay outside of the box. Don't let them pull you in. Sometimes I have to be a sounding board, and I understand that they have to get it out so that they can go back on the floor and deal with our customers in a calm manner, right? So that they can be productive. But all the energy is sitting with me now. So I have to be able to disperse it, get it off of me, and try to hold my space, right? And that's where I say, okay, sometimes I'll take a walk, or if they're coming in and it's just negativity all the time, then I just say, you know what? Seems like you think everything is happening to you. I said, you do have control over some things. And this one person, and they were like, you know what? I never thought of it that way because that's just their default. That's just their default. But pretty much that's what I do is just try to not get in the box with them, know that, okay, they need me as a sounding board, as a listening ear, help them, get them out of my office. And then sometimes I'll just close the door and then do some deep breathing. I'll get up and kind of walk around. I'll take my shoes off so I can be grounded. And then when I hit the reset button, then I'll open the door back up. How about you, Anna?
So I'm going to almost ditto everything you guys said, but I think one of the key factors here is first of all, recognizing toxic behavior, right? So if we recognize it, then we know how to better limit that interaction or control the situation. Definitely staying calm, like you mentioned, Renee. We got to stay calm and assertive. If they try to go down that path we don't want to go down, politely but firmly express, hey, this is not the right time or place. To your point, toxic individuals thrive on drama and conflict. So the more we feed that, the more focused they come on trying to attack it, right? So I avoid engaging in drama, and I used to send very, very strict boundaries on that. I was that crazy coworker, like, dude, you can vent to me. If Renee's getting on your nerves, vent to me quick, okay? I'm not going to engage on attacking Renee or we're going to gang up on Renee. Actually, I remember a couple of times coworkers would be like, girl, your friend, I would be like, hey, friend, saying her name. They want to know ABC, and I'd walk away. You're questioning her behavior, ask her. And they hated that, but that was also very, very defined boundary. I'm not engaging with you. I've already asked you. You don't respect that. I'm going to put you on the spot and see how you do it. Because sometimes people, especially toxic individuals, they're very good at engaging in drama behind the person who they're actually mad at back, but not to their face. So when I would be like, hey, they want to know why, I would walk away and leave them there. And my friends would always laugh, like, you're crazy. But I think they got the point because they stopped trying to engage with me in drama. I would not engage in drama with anyone at work. I don't like talking about people if they're not there to defend themselves. I don't like talking about people because if I turn around, that means you're talking about me too. So setting those boundaries, right? And then I do want to mention one thing that I think it's very, very important to discuss, especially when it comes to a workplace environment. You have to learn if it's something that is very consistent and they're persistent with this behavior, document it. Document it for your sanity, document it for whatever you might need. Because if this becomes an issue that they bring up to HR or management, you have documentation. If it becomes too bad to the point where it could impact not only your performance, but just your job, that's your livelihood, right? Document those things, seek support if it's necessary, and make sure that you have a firm boundary each and every time something happens. And if those boundaries are violated, reassess what you shared and re-communicated if necessary, clearly communicated if necessary. But do take those notes and include dates, times, incidents. And I know that's just my little union worker hat coming on from like many, many, many years ago, but I documented everything because when it came to my annual reviews, I was getting that raise because I was going to tell you what I did. But I documented everything. It's documented to protect yourself. I'm not saying you got to go snitch on everything that happens, but definitely protect yourself, protect your well being, and protect and prioritize that self care. Engage in stress relief techniques, but document it. Step away, document. And I just want to say that because when it comes to the workplace, it could be very difficult to prove something like this. But if you have a strong documentation thing and you have brought it up, if you bring it up to your manager, document that because they seem to forget from time to time. And, so just be very conscientious of what you're doing, how you're reacting, setting the boundaries, and protect yourself at all times on a mental well being, on emotional well being, and then also on just your job security.
Very good advice, Anna. I think that always relied. I had an extremely wonderful memory, so I could pinpoint to conversations to the nth degree. But I definitely always rely on the ability to go back to that information. And if I had to pursue something, that was definitely something that I would pull with me, because when somebody sees it in writing, it's a very different thing. So with that, let me jump over to talk a little bit. So we have some positive, some negative, some positive, and now we're going to talk a little bit about how do you balance collaborating with people that you compete with in a professional relationship. That sometimes can be a bit of a negative, but you could also make it a positive. So Renee or Anna, would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, I can go on that one. I think competition is good. It just is. It's good or bad. It depends on your perspective, right? On the good side of it, the positive side, it can push you, right? It can push you to do better, make sure that you've done your due diligence, that you are saying yes to opportunities that are coming. Because sometimes the competition, if you want to get this certain position, but you have to maybe go and do laterals, right? Because they're going to look at the breadth of your knowledge. And if you want to go higher, like as far as management, senior management, and things of that nature, you'll definitely have to have more breadth of operations and other areas. And so when you're vying for those positions, people start talking and things of that nature. It's like, oh, this person's up for it. Oh, this person's up for it. But if you just focus on you, that's all you can do, because you are not in that room where the person's making the decision.
Mhm.
The only thing that you can do is make sure when your name comes up in that room, well, first off, make sure your name does come up in the room. right on the short list. And when it does come up, make sure that it's everything is positive. You stepped out, you've taken stretch assignments, you're kind to people, your integrity, all of that, because they do look at that you're involved in social activities, community activities, because we do look at that. Especially when you start getting into management, it's not just about you being a subject matter expert, right? Because typically those people that know the technical competency, they sort of look at, but you may not be able to work well with people and to be able to develop people and interact and engage with people to bring the best out of them. So make sure that you are developing the social skills that you need and soft skills, as well as the technical competency. And let chips fall where they may. Set yourself up the best way that you can. And that's exactly what I do. I don't worry about anybody else and what they're doing. What about you, Anna?
So Ollie and I are the perfect example of collaborating while competing. Our relation grew from that. We were competitors in our corporate environment, running our respective employee resource groups, and we were both winners, and we knew that. But why not do it together? We felt that collaborating amplified not only our reach, but it also amplified our impact. And what we wanted to do ideally was impact, right? We wanted to create something that took less effort, but with a higher impact. And we did so by doing together. And this could be very true in a lot of spaces. One of the things that I hear oftentimes when we're having a group, we have the women empowering women groups that we lead, and we'll invite another coach. And they're like, but you're a coach. Isn't that your competition? Well, first of all, if you're good at what you do, there's enough to go around and then some. I don't know if you all know this, but all of us on this call today or on this podcast, we're coaches. We're all career coaches. So, and we all have our own consulting and coaching and everything. But look at us. We collaborate because we know that the impact that we can make together is far more greater than what we would alone. And this is the same in any type of environment. So when I was working in the corporate environment and we were competing in sales, I noticed that by serving my clients and even the clients of my competing team, by helping them, even if I stood to gain nothing by helping them, we both achieved greater success. And I have always been a firm believer. And if you do what's right, then it's just going to all work out. It's all going to work out. It doesn't really matter who it works out for first. It'll eventually work out for all of us. And I will share with you, to Renee's point, the work that you do within groups, the work that you do even outside of your professional role does impact the positive collaboration that you can do in the workroom. And when you talk about soft skills versus technical skills, over 75%, I believe, of hiring managers prefer a candidate that has those soft skills over the technical skills, because guess what? Technical skills can be taught. You can learn how to do certain things, but the soft skills are a gift that you have developed throughout your life experiences, through the work that you've done. And even though it can change, and Renee and I know this from our energy coaching methodology that we follow, we also know that it takes a lot longer. And no hiring manager is going to want to invest a year in you when they can invest 3 months in you to teach you the technical side of it. So that balancing the collaboration with the competition can truly, truly garner greater results, greater impact, and a lot more success for everyone that chooses to collaborate.
Anna, both of you, I absolutely agree with you both on that. I think the one thing that I would say is that you will be surprised at how much you can potentially grow from working together in with someone who really does challenge you. It's someone who is an equal or knows more from you. You can learn more. You can become better. And if you don't go down that road, if you choose to try to one up them and be I'd hate to think what my last 15 years would be like if Anna and I hadn't decided to collaborate, right? Even meeting Renee, it was a mutual because of that mutual work that we were doing together. And today we work in multiple facets together, all three of us. So I think that what I can state very simply is we have proven time and time again that working together for a positive gets you so much more. And you don't have to worry about who's going to win because everyone wins. Everyone wins big. So I think I can stop there, Anna.
Yes, we win big and then we continue to win. And the more you collaborate, the more opportunities that opens up. So, with that, we're going to lead into some statistics to share with you, just so that you're not alone. So, recent findings from the American Psychiatric Association's 2023 Work in America survey shed some light on the prevalence and consequences of workplace toxicity. More than 1 in 5, guys, 1 in 5 workers experience harm to their mental health while on the job. That's a lot of numbers if you think about it. Even though it's only 22%, that is a high percentage when you think about what it is impacting our mental health. More than 1 in 5 of employees experienced harassment in the last year, which is up from 14% in 2022. So, as much as I would like to share with you that it's going to get better, it doesn't trend that way right now. We're hoping that it can change, and it's going to take each and every one of us to do that, right? We have to impact change by acting the way that we want to be dealt with, right? The way that we want people to work with us. Now, workplace toxicity takes on different shades across industries and job functions. Customer service positions, 31% of respondents report higher verbal abuse rates compared to manual laborers, which experience 23%, and office workers, 22%. Of course, depending on the industry or the environment that you're in, those numbers can be a little bit different. But just know that it is very evident. And if you are one of those customer service positions, take some time for you. Take some time to evaluate what you're doing and value the work that you do. If nobody else is showing you that value, you start to demand it, right? So the survey also underscores the gravity of workplace discrimination and derogatory behaviors. More than 1 in 5 employees witness discrimination in their workplace, and 15% have experienced. Unfortunately, I was that 15%. And I also witnessed it. The one difference between me witnessing and me experiencing it is not really much. I speak up on both ends. So if I see them doing it to you, I'm going to speak up. If they're doing it to me, I'm going to speak up. And over a quarter of workers, or 28%, have witnessed negative, slight, insult, or joke toward someone's identity or background. Nearly 1/5, which is 19%, have been the target of such behavior. You might also notice behavior as microaggressions. Microaggressions are the type of aggressions that we're supposed to ignore because it wasn't really meant in that way, but we shouldn't. If you're being made uncomfortable, make them equally uncomfortable by pointing it out. And that's a great way of doing it politically correct. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be unprofessional. You can do it in a very professional manner. Hey, I noticed you said that 3 times. Tell me a little bit more about why you're feeling that way, and put them on that spot where they have to answer you. And it's not a wrong question. Let them feel what you're feeling, and it probably stops. I know it did for me when I've done it. Employees in toxic environments are 3 times more likely to experience harm to their mental health and than those in healthy workplaces. With 19% of workers reporting their workplace as toxic, the situation is far from reassuring. But again, there are some boundaries you can set, some self care practices that you can practice and work on that for yourself.
Good deal. So, this shift towards a supportive work environment is not just a fleeting trend, it's a clear demand from our workplace. An overwhelming 92% of our respondents emphasize the importance of an organization valuing their emotional and physical well being, stressing the significance of employer provided mental health support. By initiating several proactive strategies, employers have the potential to not only safeguard employee mental well being, but to also foster a more harmonious work environment. We can apply the U.S. Surgeon General's framework. 5 essential elements to support employees' mental health and well being include: 1, protection from harm. We have to make sure that we provide a safe and secure place to work at. 2, the opportunity for growth. making sure that people feel like they have the same opportunity across the board so that they have learnings and accomplishments just like their peers do. Mattering at work, having that dignity and just feeling like you can belong and be yourself is very important. Also, work life harmony. I know it's that balance isn't always perfect, but you have to have that autonomy and flexibility without question. We also ask that connection and community, making sure that you have the social support and the belonging so you're included, that equity, which is just as important of being a part of where you belong and where you spend the majority of your time. So, in wrapping this up, I'm going to say anchor the workplace in core values that embody respect, empathy, collaboration, and outline explicit expectations to act as a roadmap for behavior.
Yes, thank you, Lolly. We want to say thank you to everybody. This has been such an impactful session. We have all dealt with different toxic behavior, relationships, different types of good connections, positive connections that have had positive impacts on our life. And I really think we'll probably revisit some form of this discussion again, because as Anna was saying, it's still trending up. But employers really do have a responsibility to make it safe, psychologically safe and physically safe at work. And just a final thought, in the battle against workplace toxicity, mutual responsibility between employers and employees stand as the cornerstone. It's a symbiotic relationship between employer and employee that builds a workplace culture that can thrive on safety, trust, and a commitment to everyone's welfare. So, with that said, we hope you learned something new and or came away with something of value on this topic. As promised, here's how to join us as an audience member on our next show episode. We hope you're just as excited as we are. Go to our True Talk Cafe Facebook page and send us a request to attend Season 3, Episode 6 as an audience member. Be sure to use the hashtag TTCS3EP6. We will respond to your requests with our podcast website link, where you'll need to enter your preferred email address for us to send the audience link to you. We'll also send all audience members a reminder the day before the show recording. It's going to be so much fun to have you join us live. As always, we welcome your feedback, so please let us know your thoughts about today's show. Leave a comment or a review. We will respond to all comments, so please be nice. We'd love to hear your thoughts about today's topic. Please do not forget to like and rate the episode. We appreciate you tuning into our podcast, and we hope you join the TTC Crew Facebook page. Again, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook using @TrueTalkCafe. And please use the hashtag TTC Talks or True Talk Tuesdays. Recommendations for discussion topics are always welcome. We want to ensure we are providing content that is of value to you. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for listening, and we hope you join us on our next podcast episode. It's sure to be an engaging. Talk soon.
Bye.